Namaste dear viewers, welcome to Go Vegan. Today's Go Vegan is definitely going to be a lot more interesting as usual because Arvind has a lot of questions, interesting trivia and a lot of information to be shared. So let's get introduced, familiarized with his type of veganism questions. So Arvind, namaste, welcome to show.
Namaste, thank you.
And how interesting is this going to be? What you're going to ask?
So today the whole idea was I want people to really get the concept of veganism right. I really want them to understand what veganism really is, because many people have their own spin on it, their own twist on it. They fail to realize the ethics and valuing another life is at the foundation of veganism. So to get that through to people in a more interesting and a funny way, I have a list of questions with me, which I'm going to be asking right now, 9 questions in total.
Okay.
And you're going to be playing devil's advocate here for the audience, because since the audience cannot respond through a TV screen, you're going to be responding on their behalf. And I think pretty much your answers and their answers, even mine, will all be in sync to it. So I'll just get started with the questions?
Sure.
Okay, fine. So a small disclaimer is that these questions might seem very silly to people. They might think they're crazy, they make no sense. Why is this guy even asking these questions? Well, I would request you to please wait till the end of the questions, because I'll be revealing why I asked them. And trust me, when I do reveal them in the end, it'll all click, it'll all make sense completely together. Okay. So the first question is, do you think in case something bad happens, a violence happens in society, let's say a man kills another man, and that man, the killer is caught, he is taken to court and he is now in front of the judge, and the judge asks him why he murdered another human, and his answer is, Your Honor, a lion in the forest sometimes kills another lion, so I am killing another human. Do you think if a person were to say this as a justification for killing another human, that will make a sense? Do you think it makes sense?
No.
It doesn't.
No.
By any means.
It does, because sometimes we feel it's justified because maybe the inner violence what we have or the hatred towards that person is so much, but we may not go to an extent of killing the person, but sometimes when you're too much extreme in the mood, you may go to extreme decisions.
True, but do you think the reason, of course, if you're extreme in and of yourself, you have a killing tendency, that makes you a psychopath, basically. A psychopath, but not a psychopath, a normal person. Okay, doesn't have those tendencies. He did kill. And his justification is, I do it because lions do it. Since lions do it, what I am doing is justified.
No.
So that justification of the lions is not sensible?
No.
You feel definitely not? 100%?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sure the audience will agree. We'll go to the next question. Now, the next question is, we all agree that stealing and robbing is wrong. Now, let's say, for example, you find someone who is robbing another person, and you ask him, dude, why are you a thief? Why are you doing this, robbing other people? And you know it's wrong. And he tells to you, listen here, if you don't like robbing, you don't do it. But if I like robbing, I'll do it. It's my personal choice. Why do you judge me on my personal choice? How would you respond to such a person? How do you think you would feel to that statement?
I think it's not a reason enough. It is not backed up with a valid reason.
But don't you think it's a personal choice? I mean, like, see, you don't like to steal, right? You would not, personally, you yourself would not steal from somebody else, take what's not yours, right? But I like to do it.
But something that's not natural, why would I support that person's vision of doing it?
But do you have a problem with me doing it?
Of course, yes.
But it's my personal choice. Why are you interfering in my own personal choice?
Because by large, it may harm others too. Because
so it's not a personal choice.
Be the victim.
So it's not a personal choice.
Yes.
Because since it involves someone else who has to be the victim,
someday it can be me or my own people.
Yes.
Or someday that person itself may be a part of my family.
Correct.
Who would be harming others.
Yes.
So I would see it that way. So I would just definitely stop that person.
Say no, because if you were in the victim's position, it would be bad, and you would also agree that it's not a personal choice, because he's not harming himself. He's not stealing from himself.
Yes.
He's stealing from others.
But if that person is from my own household, then definitely he'll be a problem to others as well.
Correct. Okay, fine. So that's why you're saying it's wrong. I agree with you. Now, there is this mentality called might makes right. That if someone is physically stronger than, like if one human is physically stronger than another human, therefore the stronger one hurting the weaker one becomes for some reason justified. Like, for example, we have people who are very powerful financially. They have rowdies and goons. And let's say one such person uses his influence and power to hurt someone who's poorer and physically weaker than them. And when you see it and you ask that person, like, why are you being so mean? Why are you bullying this person? He says, you know what? I'm stronger. Since I'm stronger and might makes right, my violence is justified. Do you think that is
No, it's not at all justified.
Not at all justified?
No.
Even though he's stronger? Definitely not.
No, definitely not. Not all the people who are mightier, physically he may be, but there are other realms of being mightier. So the inner strength, no matter what it is. So you can't just put your things on others like that. Mightiness has a different meaning. It has a different
Correct,
perspective.
but he says
Just because I'm strong doesn't
physically,
mean that
I
I
have
can
the right,
snub others.
you have the right to.
Yes.
So you're saying even though we're physically strong, we don't have that right.
Yes.
It's not our right. Okay, fine, I agree. Now, again, the audience had to be very clear. You might think this is crazy, these questions, but they actually have very, very deep meaning as we go forward. Question number 4. Let's say, for example, you were walking across the road right now and you saw a building that's on fire. And you saw there are 50 people, you come to know there are 50 people stuck in the building. However, due to the fire, 30 of them have already sadly passed away. Only 20 remaining are alive. And you have a phone. You could call the fire the department right now, make them come, put out the fire and save the remaining 20 lives. Now, would you call the fire department and save the remaining lives, or would you for a moment in your mind think, well, I could not save all 50, so what's the point in saving 20?
Definitely, I would hold on to the lives of other 20.
So this thought will not even occur to you, that the thought that, well, I couldn't save everybody, might as well save nobody.
No,
That's not a valid thought. And you think people who do think that thought, it's crazy, it's not sensible actually?
Yes.
Did you think that way?
Yes.
It doesn't
Because the sudden thought, definitely someone out there might be in need of you. You should help, no matter what. We may have lost 30, but at least 20 is in front
Even if
of
you could save one,
yes,
you would say
it makes a
that
difference.
individual matters.
Yes.
Okay, fine. Great, I agree too. 5th question is, we all have this notion and belief in life that we want to be as perfect as possibly as we can in our values and ideals. So we all have this ideal or value that we will not hurt intentionally another human being, at least not kill someone. We have that idea. So let's say, for example, I am driving on the road right now, and by accident, I repeat, by accident, I happen to kill another human being on the road. Now, since I killed someone by accident, I have now broken my vow. I have like, my belief that I should live a life in this particular way has been stopped suddenly. Does that, since I killed someone by accident, does that now justify me driving around the road crazy and killing people intentionally?
No.
Do you get my question exactly? It sounds weird, but you get it.
Yes.
So just because I do harm by accident doesn't mean now that accident now justifies me doing intentional harm.
No.
It doesn't. But why? If someone were to ask why, how would you even respond to them?
Because that was accidental. You didn't wish that would happen, and you would not, by accident, if you didn't want even that to happen, even by accident, why would you do it by your intention?
Okay.
Intentionally also you wouldn't.
Fair enough. Okay, I agree. I completely agree. Okay, the next question is that we in society, obviously as human beings, we have humans, some people who are highly intelligent, some people who are highly athletic, and some who are not so. We also have people who are differently abled among us. So let's say there's 2 children right now in front of us. One is a normal child, regular child, another is a differently abled child who doesn't have the same mental capacity as the other one. And there is a parent or a teacher or someone saying that this child, who is not a special child, is for some reason ethically or morally more valuable than the child who is a special child. Would you agree with that statement?
No.
Definitely not.
No.
Now he's saying that this child can do mathematics, this child can speak English, this child can do so much more than this child can ever dream of. Does that for some reason make the life of this child morally more valuable than the life of the special needs child?
No.
It does not at all.
No.
So where does the value come from then?
I feel it's the way you're being taught to, because we all have got same heart, same brain. It all depends on how you actually culture them, how you condition them.
Right.
So both have the same capability. If this child is good in something, equally good the other child would be. So judgment is where we go wrong.
Judgment is wrong, but the question is, if this is a special needs child, this is a child that cannot speak, that cannot think much for itself clearly, that the child constantly needs support from others. There are children that way who are mentally retarded. We have such kids.
Yes.
So in such children, one person says that this child is less special than that child. This child is less valuable than that child. Would that make sense? Like in terms of their life, he's saying this child not valuable, this child valuable. Such a judgment.
How would a person add value like that? How can a person?
So intelligence doesn't justify adding value like that.
Exactly.
Completely. Okay, I agree. Now
life and the quality of life is more important than the value and other things added onto it.
Fair enough. I agree. Now, the next question will be the most silly of all. It will be the craziest of all, but again, it has meaning to it. Again, let's say, for example, a murder takes place in society. A man kills another human being, and again, that man is brought to court, and he's confessed, like, why are you killing this person? And he says, Your Honor, it makes sense for me to kill this person because plants feel pain. He is saying that when you kill a plant, the plant is living, and you chop trees. That's how you have your desk in front of you, Your Honor. Similarly, I chop the human. What's the difference? Do you think there's a difference between chopping a plant and chopping a human?
In terms of having life, yes, both have a life. But then, yeah, it's all about how we have been brought up. It's all about conditioning. Sometimes we don't think much about the things which don't have much life to them.
Right.
So we feel that it's okay for a plant because it has been born for our need.
Okay.
So sometimes, yes.
But do you think that justification can be used? So
But
the judge,
killing a human is very, very different than killing a plant.
is it? So if the judge says, okay, you know what, you're right, boy, go ahead and kill whoever you want, you will never be jailed because plants and humans are equal. Does that now make sense, or that doesn't make sense? If the judge says, I agree with the criminal, he is free to kill any human because killing human is equal to killing plant. Would that make no? So why there? Why would you disagree with the judge there?
Probably because it's a human life. It's if we have ability to think, we have ability to reason, we have ability to judge to a certain level.
Right.
So we should be making use of it. We should know to draw limits.
So that you can draw a line. A line can be drawn, clear line.
Very, very.
Yeah, you will agree plants are living, but that doesn't justify killing humans at all. That doesn't justify at all. Okay, fair enough. I agree.
Go Vegan continues, but after a short break. After a short break, welcome back to Go Vegan.
Now, the last question is that we all come from different cultures, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, everything. And we all have different practices taught to us by our elders many, many hundreds of years ago, and we're all following it. Do you think that a human being who wants to justify violence on another human being by saying that it's his culture, for example, in our own country, we had sati, 100 years ago.
Yes.
No, we agree sati is wrong today. But people would justify sati saying that it's been happening for hundreds of years. My ancestors taught it to me. If your ancestors didn't teach that to you, you don't do it. But why do you come and try to stop me from doing my culture? It's my culture, my tradition is what they are. Is there a justification to support sati or
any other violence?
Any other sort of violence like that?
No.
But why? Isn't it their tradition?
Tradition, yes. Culture, yes. Heritage, yes. But then there are some moral things, moral ethics, which has to be your own. You need to know your own limits. You need to know, you need to reason out what is fair enough and what is not, no matter how many generations it has come. Some changes you have to bring within yourself to be a better being.
So, but they are saying that, again, it comes to your personal choice one. If you don't want it, if it's not in your tradition, you don't do it. But why do you judge me for me doing mine? I mean, we've been doing this
We can question them, but maybe we can't be judgmental, but we can evaluate.
Would you not judge someone if you saw right in front of your eyes dragging a widow and throwing them in fire? You would not judge them?
I would definitely ask what made them do that.
Okay.
I would even
try to stop, call the police, something. Yes. But why are you doing that? If they're saying stop tradition, shouldn't we stop?
But shouldn't we even at least ask what the lady is going through, if she really
so,
wishes or not?
The
There
victim matters here.
Yes.
Okay.
First we should stop that act. Later we can always sit and talk what happens.
Okay, fine. So
we need to stop that.
The violence, if it's violent, it shouldn't exist. I mean, if the tradition is violent, it has to stop.
It has to stop, no matter what.
No matter what. Okay, fine. Now I agree. Thank you for so patiently answering all these questions. These questions might seem bizarre to you and to the audience, but before we do continue and I explain why I asked these questions, I would request this audience to watch this 1-minute video. Now, after having seen that video, and after I know the audience will be scared and confused as to why these animals are crying, why they're shivering, why they're being beaten, and all this harassment is happening. So before I reveal why I asked these questions, I just want to talk to the audience about one small thing, and that is, what is the real difference between humans and animals? Because we always have this in our minds that humans and animals are different, and I agree we are different in many ways, it's true. But I personally feel, and I can prove to you, that the similarities far outweigh the differences. If you think about it, take any animal, we both have eyes to see, a nose to smell, ears to hear, a mind to think, a heart to beat, blood to bleed, feet to walk. We literally live the same way, just like these animals. In many ways, we are exactly the same. And the part that I want people to focus on is pain, suffering, desire to live, and desire to live free. When you look at pain, if you take a steel rod that is shown on flames and kept it on my arm, the pain I would feel is the same pain any human on earth would feel. I will never for once say, it's incorrect to say that I feel more pain than any human. Similarly, if you kept that rod on a dog or a horse or a donkey or a cow or a pig or a goose or a duck, do you think for a minute that they for some reason feel less pain than us or more pain? Or same pain?
Pain is the same.
Pain is the same. So pain is exactly, I want first people to agree with the fact that pain is the same. Now what about suffering? When it comes to suffering, a boy is a pig, is a bear, is a cow, is the same. We all suffer. If you see, if you were to approach me with a stick right now and just raise it, what will I do? This?
Yes.
What does a dog do? This? We all know, because we know when that stick hits me, it's going to hurt. We try to avoid. All of us seek to avoid pain and suffering. There is no living creature, any animal that willingly goes for pain and suffering. We seek to avoid it. We go for happiness and pleasure. So in pain and suffering, we are same. Now, what about in desire to live? And what about freedom? Think of it this way. If, let's say, for example, I realize that, again, let's give the same fire example. I'm stuck in a building where there's a fire, and I know if I don't reach the exit within 10 seconds, I'm going to die.
Okay.
And with me, along with me, is a dog and a chicken and a cow, and for the change, let's also keep some other animal, let's say a mouse. Okay? We all obviously know there's a fire. We all want to run towards the exit to escape the fire. Now, who do you think will be running at the absolute fastest as they can towards the fire? Only me or all of them?
Desire is the same. Everybody would want
to run the same way.
Yes.
Everyone's like, me out first, me out first, me out first. We all desire to do the same way. Similarly, if you were to cage me in one cage and put next to me a few more animals like a chicken, a pig, and then a dog here and a cat there, and you didn't give us food for 3 days, just left us there in a small cage for 3 days, and on the 4th day morning, you keep a bowl of food, what each animal would eat in front of us, and you open the cage. What would you see? What do you see all of us doing? Rush to the food and eat it. And similarly, if you kept us in that cage for 3 days, and then you took us out to an open field and released us, what will you all do?
Immediately run.
Run as fast as we can away from the cage, because we all feel hunger the same way. We all feel pain the same way. We all desire to live the same way. We all want freedom the same way. Nobody wants to be someone else's slave, someone else's pet. We don't want that. We want freedom. So in this regard, I want people to understand that humans and animals are equals. At least when it comes, I understand in intelligence we're different. Okay, we are different. I agree there are differences. But in pain and suffering, we are same. We are one. So now with this in mind, let's come back to the questions and see how the audience reacts now. Okay. So for all the questions I asked back then, I asked if one human killed another, if one human hurt another. Now I'm asking you, if a human were to hurt and kill and eat an animal, and I as a vegan go and ask them, why are you doing so? And they say to me, well, a lion kills a deer in the forest. Do you think that is a valid excuse?
No.
It's not. If we cannot give that excuse to justify killing humans, then why all of a sudden you can say it and justify killing animals? Is my question here. And the sad thing is, although these questions sound bizarre and strange and silly to you in the audience, these are the questions I get asked every single day of my life as a vegan activist. Every single day. Lions eat meat, I eat meat. Lion eats this, I eat this. I mean, why? Where is the logic? It doesn't make sense. If we understand animals and humans are equal, then why, if this statement doesn't make sense for humans, it cannot make sense for animals. Next question was, well, a guy said that if you don't want to rob, you don't rob. It's my personal choice. Similarly, Arvind, if you want to be vegan, you be vegan. I won't be vegan. It's my personal choice. It's not your personal choice to eat meat, milk, and eggs. It's not. Because your so-called personal choice involves the lives of others.
Others, yes.
And like you said, if it involves someone else's life, it is no longer a personal choice, and that argument also becomes invalid.
Yes.
Third thing, the might makes right mentality. I am a human, I am stronger, I am technologically advanced, I can kill these animals, I'll do so. Doesn't justify the action. You can do so. Of course you can do so. So in the same way, a terrorist can kill us. He can do so. We can do a lot of bad things in the world. But just because you can do something doesn't mean that the action suddenly becomes right.
True, true.
So you being a non-vegan, I want to be very open and honest, it's wrong. It's not your personal choice. And you cannot say it's correct just because you're stronger than the animals. And the next thing was, when I asked you about the burning building, you told if you could even save one life, you do it. Now, hear this. As a vegan activist, I've been asked countless number of times. People ask me, Arvind, if I go vegan, do you think I can save all the animals in the world? Do you think by me, one person changing, suddenly everything stops? Well, obviously not. But by you changing, change does happen.
At least one person.
At least, if by one person changing, at least a few hundred animals are spared. So how come we not change? If we are saying that in fact, if you are told, no, I let those 20 people die in the fire, people will judge you. Look at her, how horrible, how cruel she is. Similarly, if you say, just because the world won't change if I go vegan, you will not go vegan, I think it is fair enough if a vegan judges you and says that that's a wrong thing to say. That is an incorrect way of thinking. That's a very wrong way to think. Next point was, if I kill someone by accident, does that now justify me now going and killing people intentionally?
Yes.
People ask me a question, Arvind, when you walk on the road, by mistake, don't you step on an ant? Isn't that also himsa? Isn't that also violence? So how come, what's the difference between that and me eating chicken or drinking milk? Well, again, that's an accident. I watch as much as I can when I walk, but I agree, beyond my control, I do kill some animals. But just because I killed an animal by accident doesn't now justify me eating meat, cheese, milk and eggs. Because when I do those actions, I am intentionally causing pain. Because I know for every glass of milk I eat, every piece of meat I eat, there is suffering behind. That is intentional suffering I choose. That is unintentional. So again, just because a vegan accidentally steps on insects does not justify you not being a vegan. Next point was, humans are more intelligent. I told there's a special needs child or a normal child. You told the value is not based on their intelligence. It's based, again, on who they are. And a person will judge, the way a person judges them shows their upbringing and how wrong it is.
Yes.
Similarly, just because animals are not as intelligent as us, doesn't mean that their lives are worth less than us. Which is why I told you, when it comes to intelligence, they are less. Just like the two human children. But when it comes to pain and suffering, desire to live free, we are all the same.
Yes.
So in that regard, once again, that excuse for not being vegan is not valid. So the next question is what I said to you would be the most bizarre when it comes to the human rights scenario. That is, a person kills another human being and he justifies it by saying that plants feel pain. Now you will not believe the number of times I hear this statement every single day of my life. I get inbox messages every single day. Don't you know plants feel pain? Plants feel pain. Plants feel pain. So you see, if this statement, when we see some real bad violence, like a terrorist attack happening in our country, not one person in the news says, it's okay guys, calm down, plants also feel pain. Never happens. But when we kill 60 billion animals in the most brutal, horrifying, violent ways, all of a sudden this becomes the mother of all excuses for people. They say plants feel pain. So we have to think about it again objectively. If humans and animals are the same, which they are when it comes to pain and suffering, and saying plants feel pain doesn't justify human abuse, how can it justify animal abuse? And again,
yes.
You said plants are living creatures. Plants are living creatures when you mentioned that. However, a plant, we have to learn a new word, and that's called sentient. Sentient means, it comes from the French word sentir. It means to feel. A plant is alive but cannot feel or respond to the environment around it. You see, we need a brain and a nervous system in order to respond to the environment. We need organs like eyes and nose and ears and skin for touch, all of this to smell and taste. Because without a nose, one cannot obviously smell. Without an ear, you can't hear. So a plant lacks the brain, the nervous system, and all the necessary organs for it to think or feel or respond in any way. Thus, a plant cannot respond. It only reacts to the external stimulus, and thus comparing it to an animal is invalid, which is why, if you look at the science classification, we have the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom.
Yes.
No plant ever comes under the animal kingdom, and surprise, surprise, humans also exist under the animal kingdom because humans are animals classified. So please stop this comparison between animals and plants, because it's a very bizarre, strange comparison, and somehow this is the best excuse people have, and it's very sad to see well-educated, intelligent, otherwise very kind-hearted people getting so defensive and suddenly saying, oh, no, Arvind, we can't do it, plants feel pain. Like, come on, do you really care about plants, first of all? Do you think they don't care about plants? Second interesting fact is, A vegan kills far less plants than a non-vegan. Did you know that? Because a non-vegan doesn't just kill an animal and eat it. That animal has to be fed tons and tons of grains, which are plants. So he ends up, I just eat small portion of rice and I'm done. That animal has to eat so much of plant food and then you kill the animal. So you are killing much, in case one day you find out plants feel pain, well, you're still killing more plants than the vegans.
True.
So vegans are still causing less amount of pain and suffering on earth than a non-vegan. So I would say, please stop. It's a silly excuse. Let's not get it. In fact, that's another story. Let's not do that. Now, the last one what we spoke about is the tradition. People always, as I said, they've come from different traditions, different backgrounds. And in some traditions, some religions, we sacrifice animals. Yeah, we also use them for bullock cart racing. We come from various different stuff. All forms of animal abuse exist. Now, as you said, our traditions are fine. But the moment we find out and we realize that our traditions are causing intentional pain and suffering and exploitation to others, we should stop. We should. If that is the case, then saying that it's my tradition and I've been eating meat, cheese, milk and eggs for so long, my ancestors have been doing it for so long, and suddenly that excuse makes it justified, it doesn't justify it. That's what I'm trying to say. Saying that it's your tradition or your heritage or your culture doesn't justify the violence that you intentionally inflict on animals.
True.
So the reason I had to go through all of this before even I come to veganism is because I first want to get people's minds clear. And I make them understand that animal rights is as important and as serious as human rights, because I want to bring some seriousness to this. Because when we discuss animals, it's like, animal rights, it's a side issue, it's not that important. Okay, animal rights, now what benefits for humans in case they'll ask me, in case I support animal rights, what benefit for me? Well, the question in itself is very egoistic and it's very selfish, and it shows that people think that they're the center of the universe. They really think that they're center. You know how it sounds like? Imagine if I was doing a program or giving a lecture about women's rights, okay? And suddenly a man gets up and asks me, okay, you spoke very well about women's rights, but if I agree with you, benefit men. Dude, this is not about you. Whether it benefits you or whether it gives a loss to you, this is the fundamental rights of women which you have to respect, whether you like it or not, whether you agree or disagree, and whether it benefits you or it even gives you negative stuff in your life, because men are always scared and when women come to power, women are going for work, they get scared. So whether you get scared or not, this is something you have to do. Similarly, animal rights is for animals, women's rights is for women, children's rights is for children. Stop confusing this. Animal rights are not complicated. Understand this is not about me and you. But here's the wonderful thing about veganism. When you are being altruistic means you're trying to give something for the world without expecting anything in return. So a person following women's rights or being respectful to women is not getting anything back in return per se. But when you are vegan, you get your health back.
Okay.
You do. And this is something, by being altruistic, you should never expect anything back, but it does get back to you. You're kinder to the environment. Because let's be honest, animal agriculture is ruining our environment through deforestation and methane emissions and global warming. It's killing the planet, it's melting the ice caps. And also, you're going to save a lot of money. Animal products and doctor bills are very, very expensive. So you are actually going to be getting a lot of benefits out of this, but please don't change for the benefits. I would suggest you change to vegan because you understand what you're doing is wrong. I want people to understand and realize. Although, yes, look, if someone tells me, Arvind, I really like how you speak about health, I want to go vegan for health, of course I'll encourage them. Of course I'm going to, because in the end of the day, for me, as long as the animal is not killed, my job is done. The animal cares only about that. But as a human to a human, we can do better. We don't have to change for selfish reasons. We can change for unselfish, kinder, altruistic reasons. And that's why I request people to go vegan for the animals. That's my take on it.
Okay.
And there's another new word, a new concept I want to bring about to people's understanding, and that's a word called speciesism. Have you heard of this word before? Speciesism?
No.
Okay, so you would have heard the words like racism,
yes,
sexism, casteism.
Yes,
okay, fine.
Yes.
So racism means based on someone's religion or their ethnicity or skin color or how because they look different, they come from a different part of the world, we discriminate. Oh, I'm better than you, you're better than me. That way. Sexism is what? Based on gender. I'm a man, you're a woman, I'm better than you. Caste again is casteism based on caste. I'm a upper caste, a higher caste, lower caste, all this blah blah blah. Speciesism is the exact same thing. It is based on species. I am a human, you are not a human. Therefore, your life is worth nothing. In fact, the value of your life will be placed by me depending on how valuable you are to me. Cow, you give milk, 5 years you get, then I'll kill you. Okay, what about you? You're a snake, no value, kill immediately. What is a monkey? or you can dance for me, okay, go, take them, dance, dance, dance. So we humans start, so if you think ever that a vegan is judgmental, non-vegans are 1,000 times more judgmental towards the abyss. You literally judge the animal's life.
Yes.
You tell them you deserve to live, you deserve to die, and you decide when and where. So please understand that this is called speciesism. Also, some species for humans are very close. Dogs and cats, oh my god, we will never want to hurt them. Never harm them. Dogs are sweet, benevolent, loving creatures. Who would ever dream of hurting a dog? In fact, if anybody hurts a dog, monster, violent, hang him. So my question is, what's the difference between someone who gets pleasure out of beating a dog, someone who gets pleasure out of eating chicken, someone who gets happiness out of consuming dairy products? What is the exact difference here?
No much
All
difference.
three are getting happiness from abusing another animal's body. You might say that, no, this guy is doing it just for the fun. It's not even necessary. Well, what if I told you that meat, cheese, milk, and eggs are eaten just for fun? They are not necessary for a happy, healthy human life. We have umpteen number of scientific research showing that. So once again, this is where I get upset.
We manipulate our actions, thoughts, reasoning.
We do, and we do it in such a sly way in which we are always right and others are wrong. Have you heard of the Yulin Dog Festival? Heard of this?
No.
Okay.
No.
So Yulin Dog Festival is a festival, so-called festival, happens in China in a place called Yulin, where they kill and eat dogs once a year. Around 30,000 dogs are killed. It's a big festival where these dogs are actually boiled alive and they're killed in oil or water. It's horrifying to watch. And now they do a lot of horrible stuff in China, but the problem is that people from India and all over the world, they'll get together. Oh my God, stop Yulin. The Chinese people are barbaric. They are heartless. How can they do this to dogs? Can't you hear the dog screaming? Can't you see the tears in its eyes? Is what they say. But they'll be saying this with a mouth full of meat, milk, or cheese or eggs. And that is the problem. They'll be wearing leather shoes and speaking up against these atrocities. So how does that make sense? My only point is, please don't be a hypocrite. Please stop saying that others are wrong while you do the same acts of violence, if not worse, on other species. You're like a racist, you're a speciesist.
Yes.
You choose which species to dominate and which to not. And if anyone hurts a species you love, they're bad. But if you hurt a species someone else's love, that's okay. But here's the most important part. It doesn't matter whether I love a species or anybody loves a species. What does that individual animal think? Is that animal a willing participant of what we do to them? Definitely not. In that case, what we're doing is wrong.
True.
So this is that I want to break that mentality, because people always tell me that, hey Arvind, I'm pretty sure that animal lovers will get the message of veganism. They fight tooth and nail against veganism more than other normal people do. Because for them, they keep thinking, Arvind, I saved 50 dogs. How many dogs you saved? That day I went, they were going to euthanize so many dogs in the shelter. I went and I adopted all of them. And I took an injured dog in the street, a puppy. I gave it an injection. I took it to the hospital. I spent 20,000 of my hard-earned money. And I saved an innocent life. How many animals have you saved, Arvind? You know what? I have saved 0. I agree. You're doing it. Let me give credit where credit's due. You are doing a wonderful job by saving. You spent 20,000 to save a life. You also spent 1 lakh that year to kill another 500 lives. Why do you not acknowledge that? This is not me trying to put anyone down or me judging, but me stating facts.
True.
Again, if the same thing were to translate into human rights, this would be a joke. If someone says, I saved this child and I'm giving him education and see this child I'm doing. On another side, if I'm dealing in selling children abroad or kidnapping, you would first tell me, Arvind, you know what? You don't have to help anybody. Why don't you stop hurting them first? That's the first thing you will. So why does this not apply for animal rights? Again, it's all just...
Animals don't need any help. They just need to be left the
alone.
way they are.
Yes.
Go Vegan continues, but after a short break. After a short break, welcome back to Go Vegan.
And the sad thing is that, see, look, you might be asking, like, do people get the message of veganism? Are they changing? People are changing. There are many good, kind-hearted people in this world, and they exist. And sometimes, you know what, veganism doesn't reach people immediately. It's like you plant a seed in their mind, and it stays there. Every now and then it comes and just irks them, and they're like, is what I'm doing right? Should I do it? Should I do it? Okay, maybe today I won't do it. Like, it stays. But after a certain point, it starts growing. It spreads its roots, and it starts growing into a full-fledged, beautiful tree. And then you see vegans coming up. But some people change right away.
So it doesn't happen just in one night?
It took me, even after seeing animals being killed in front of my eyes, 6 to 7 years to change. Myself, the person you see today.
Okay.
It took me. Now, the reason why it took me so long is because I did not know I had an option called veganism. I just saw the videos, I cried, I felt bad. I didn't know what to do. What to do. But the moment I knew what to do, stop. Like immediately stop. Like the moment I knew I have an option as a vegan, loving non-veg every day, stop. Like immediate stop. I did relapse once when I went back and had chicken again, but after that, like complete abstinence. Like I just totally stopped. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't get myself to do it. Like I just couldn't like. And I want my whole job in my life right now is to search for people like that. And trust me on this, if we have 1 billion people in India, don't you think at the very least there are 10, if not 50 million people like this who genuinely care, who genuinely understand right from wrong, and they immediately they exist. So my job as a vegan activist right now is to find these people, get this message to them, make them change. And when they change and all of us start changing, we can start creating a revolution. But right now, we are in a very, very nascent baby-like stage. So
with all the atrocities and
happening,
all the oppositions
I have
coming.
to see all the violence every day as I travel through. I see slaughterhouses, I see dead bodies hanging, I see people eating dead bodies, I see people see milk, I see a mother crying. So for me, it is mental torture day in and day out. But you know what? Whatever torture I go through is nothing compared to what the animals go through. So right now, I'm just like a broken record going through the motions for the animals right now, and it's working. I have changed hundreds of people. I've been doing this full-time activism for around 2.5 years right now.
Okay.
I have faith in myself. Before I die, I can change at least 1 lakh people. I have faith in myself. I can change 1 lakh people, and I'll do that in my life. I'll be doing that. And I just want to touch on a few more points actually. Again, when you talk about hypocrisy, you have to understand this is societal conditioning. Because again, cow's milk, when someone sees it, no one says yuck, it's yum. And when it says chicken, it's yummy. Think of it this way, if I was right now hosting a party, like a buffet behind me, and I gave you a plate and told, go put on your favorite dish and eat it. And you try everything, but this one food which you're trying, and it's like, it tastes so good for you. And as you come and ask me, Arvind, what's the secret recipe? How did you make this? And I tell you, the secret recipe is I use freshly made 1 kg of dog meat, which has been marinated for 1 hour in donkey milk. Now, if I say this, people will literally react like, what's he saying, dog meat? What's wrong with this guy? Dog meat means it's a dead dog. And donkey milk, Arvind, are you a baby donkey? Why would you drink donkey milk? But if I told it's chicken that's marinated in curd, everyone's like,
lips smack.
So this is societal conditioning. You were conditioned just like how children 300 years ago in America were conditioned racially to think that, oh, I am white, I'm superior, you're black, you're inferior. Men were conditioned to think, oh, I'm a man, I'm better, you're a woman, you're inferior. We are conditioned to see dog, cat, human special, cow, chicken, goat, duck, pig, fish, goose, all these animals, kill, exploit, no problem, plants feel pain. This is what I'm trying to break. I'm trying to, you said that you can draw a clear line between plants and humans. You can draw a clear line right now. And I'm trying to draw this line so clearly, and hoping people will not turn away or close their eyes. Because that's one thing people love to do. We love to turn a blind eye to atrocities. So it's an easy escape. In fact, they say the reason atrocities happen is not because bad people do evil things. It's because good people don't turn away. They don't stand up against the atrocity. And that's why we have 60 billion animals being born into this world every year to suffer and die. And I just hope through me talking, people will open their eyes slowly, at the very least slowly, and realize that what's happening is wrong, and they can change, and they can make a difference. They can actually make a difference. And I also want to share another interesting story that happened to me in real life. This happened in Mumbai around 2 years ago. I was in Mumbai giving dozens of lectures to various schools and colleges about veganism. And me and my friends, many other vegans, activists, we were all in the evening at a park. It's called Dadar Shivaji Park. I don't know if you've heard of it. And we were giving out leaflets and we were showing videos and talking to the public. We were doing all of that. And it became late, around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. We noticed a woman with a monkey in a chain, a gypsy. She was making the monkey dance and getting money from people. And we saw this, and legally, you're not supposed to have these monkeys on you. Now, I don't go by the law, because the law says that cows, chickens, pigs, fish, these are all objects, you can kill them. So, our monkey and parrot is special according to the law, wild animals. So, I don't support the law, but where the law does benefit me, I obviously will use it to benefit the animal, not for me, obviously. So here the law benefits the animal, so we immediately called the police, we stopped her, we rescued the monkey, it took a long 3 hours process, we saved the monkey and the baby. The monkey and the baby is either released back in the wild or in a wildlife reserve, something like that. So they're free now, living happily. I went home late at 12, and my mom asked me, Arvind, why are you late? And I told mom this whole story, a gypsy lady had a monkey and all of this. The first thing my mother told me was, what, Arvind? That poor lady. You have taken her job from her, number one. And number two, she really, I'm sure she won't treat the monkey all that bad. She'll surely give food to the monkey and the baby. I'm like, yeah, that's true. She will definitely feed them. And the monkey works for them. She gives the monkey protection and she feeds the monkey. It's all mutual.
It's a dependency.
Yeah. Why do you want to go and stop it? If I were there, I would let her use the monkey. And I told my mom one thing, and I hope people understand. I was not being disrespectful to my mom. I was just being honest with her. I asked her, Mom, if that was your child, would you give your child for the gypsy to use? And she was like, no. I was like, why is you and your child suddenly
so
special? And why do you feel that your love towards your child and your child suddenly has the right to live free? I told her, they won't beat your child. They'll just put a chain around the neck. They'll make your child dance and make money. Poor gypsy, give your life for them. If you care so much about them, why don't you go give your life for them? And that we can't do. But apparently it's okay to give the life of an innocent monkey and the monkey's child for it. So the whole problem is again human superiority complex. Now, this doesn't mean my mom's an evil person or anyone who says like that. Although I'm not a bad person for telling that I spoke honestly to my mom. I speak honestly to everybody. So it's again the whole ideology that I am special. It's about me. The world revolves around me. Animals don't count. Animals can't feel. Animals are stupid. And the whole point of veganism is this: you are not special. We are all the same.
We are equals.
And you can live a happy, healthy life without exploiting animals. And the question is not why you are exploiting or using an animal. The question is not how you exploit the animal. The question is, you don't have the right to exploit the animal to begin with. It's
True.
not how it's done or why it's done, the method it's done, or for how long it's been happening. Animal use is animal abuse. It should never happen, which is why I am vegan, and that's the real meaning of vegan. It's about social justice. It's about equality. And ethics. I hope now people and your excuses for justifying non-veganism, I hope, have been proved invalid. That's all I wanted to say. I think when people hear the word vegan, most people are turned off, especially in India, because they think it's a foreign word, it's a Western concept. And if I don't want to go vegan because I want to remain true to my roots, well, vegan is just a label, it's just a word. We don't have to identify with that if we don't want to. The point is not to go around saying I'm a vegan. It's about how you behave, not the words you speak or what label you have on you. So, with that being said, if someone if they're worried that this is not appropriate in Indian culture, then I would ask, what is ahimsa? That very word was born in our country.
Yes.
And ahimsa means non-violence. It's a beautiful word, non-violence to all living beings. So veganism is ahimsa. All I'm asking you to do is follow the ahimsa way of life. And again, another important word in our country is satyagraha. Again, a very Sanskrit word. It's from India. It means speak the truth and the truth alone. Speak it boldly, forcefully, and clearly. You see, when we speak the truth in a society filled with lies, the person speaking the truth will seem like a crazy person.
True.
Like an utter maniac. In fact, if you think about it, if I were to go back 300 years and talk about women's rights to people, they would think I'm crazy. Why do you care, Arvind? Like, why should you bother? Are you a woman? It's a weird question to come up to me. Similarly, if I were to talk about children's rights, we had to struggle for this. Similarly, in a society where completely speciesism is spread, and every other street you see dead animals hanging, the person speaking about veganism seems like a crazy psycho person. But if you believe in satyagraha, being a vegan activist in this day and age is satyagraha. Because no matter what people say against me, no matter what they try to say to counter what I say or to harm animals, I know what I am doing is right. Because if what I am doing is wrong, if veganism is wrong, it means discrimination is right. Discrimination can never be right.
Never be right.
Violence can never be right. That means veganism is always right.
Okay. It's so much of insight, and definitely it's so heartwarming to know all these things, because veganism actually stands for ahimsa, equality and justice to all, social justice, and not to do any bias across species, whoever it may be. So we all have probably our space to live in happily, healthily, wisely. So let's make the right choice. Let all be vegans.
Yes, correct, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Arvind.
Sure.